Hi friends, it's your pal Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Daggerheart, and we're going to talk about how massively important conversations that only used to happen on Dungeons & Dragons are now happening on Daggerheart. So, like for instance, Dave Thomavor, he is all in on Daggerheart at this point, even though his initial review is, "This is garbage, you can have my copy, Daggerheart sucks. Hey everybody, I love Daggerheart." Like, and actually, I have the same thing. I literally have a video like, "I hate Daggerheart, the release sucked," right? And now I'm like, Daggerheart's the best, right? And so one thing I want you to understand, okay, this is a Scott Garibay original. The world is only processed intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually. And you suck because you are only processing the world intellectually. You are antiquated nonsense person. You suck, right? If you haven't processed everything in your life, intellectually, emotionally, and personally, you are a shadow of a human being and you suck as a person. Get good, catch up, right? And the reality, and that's just it. That's what's happening with Daggerheart. Is me and Dave Thomavor have had everybody has an intellectual reaction. This is what I think, everybody, blah, 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 who cares, right? Blah, blah, blah. You're using your brain, whatever, right? Like, are you using your heart? I want to know how you feel about Daggerheart. And this is really interesting. This is new. And like, me and Dave Thomavor are feeling about Daggerheart. That's fascinating. That's new. That's fresh, okay? And then I'm the only person in the world who's actually fully processed. I have an intellectual, an emotional, and a spiritual review of Daggerheart on my channel. I'm the only person in the world who's done that, who's actually understood. And I'm the only person that understands Daggerheart. The only person who has ever read it, processed it, and actually understands it. Same as, and now I'm the only person in the world who understands Dungeons & Dragons and Daggerheart, right? Because the rest of you don't even know how to turn on the thermo, right? Like, you've never seen the world in thermographic, right? And I've seen it in thermographic, in regular visual, and in a lens you don't even know exists, right? And so, but what's really fascinating is, so Dave Thomavor came in and he did a review of the species, and he said, are the Daggerheart species, all 18 of them, are they real? Do they matter? Is there anything here, right? And he asked this brilliant question. He said, should wildly different biologies impact the game? Now, first of all, he's wrong. Daggerheart is not a game. It's a human improvement engine, exactly like Dungeons & Dragons, because Gary injected it with his legacy, right? And if you don't understand, I got a whole video on it. You gotta go back and watch my stuff. I'm not gonna repeat myself, okay? And by the way, new rule, don't ask me to repeat myself in my comments, right? If you're like, oh, hey, Scott, answer this question for me that's already existing in a video, you can bargle off. I ain't doing it no more. You watch my stuff or you suffer. It's your choice, right? I'm not giving Cliff Notes every 10 minutes in the comments. All right, let's keep moving. So this is a brilliant question. But what I thought was really interesting was he's coming in and he's like, hey, everybody. And I thought this was really fascinating. This conversation, this doesn't happen for OSE. This doesn't happen for Shadow Dark. And people are like, we don't need to have these conversations on Shadow Dark or OSE or masks, right? And the reason why is they're all D&D clones, right? They're all just also-rans, right? But people are like, oh no, we need to have this conversation about Daggerheart because it's not an also-ran. It's not a D&D clone. It is a TTRPG that actually matters. That is fascinating. That is really fascinating. That is fascinating, right? I just think that's incredible, right? Now, I'm going to give you my answer real quick. No, you're right. Like, Daggerheart kills dwarves, right? They're like, hey, dwarves should be able to be good in mountains, and they should be able to make magical stuff, and they should be curmudgeonly. And Daggerheart's like, no, there's no, you're like, what's the difference between a dwarf and an elf? There's no difference between a dwarf and an elf. Ridgeborn, you could have a Ridgeborn ribbit, right? We don't care. You can have a Ridgeborn Simia. Ridgeborn, that should belong to dwarves. It doesn't, right? And I'm not going to pretend. It is a loss. It is a loss. So what's the gain? We fix the world. We fix the world. You understand that? We're telling people your biology doesn't matter, right? Winston Churchill was a lump. He was not an impressive guy. He changed the world. His biology didn't matter. He was a champion, right? And so the point is, we're making sacrifices. We're sacrificing the fun at the table to fix the freaking world. Do you understand that? That's what's happening. And that's why Daggerheart is not a game. It is a human improvement engine. They're saying, your biology doesn't matter. Rock on, Short King. Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking, subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.